Yes, yeah. We're looking forward to it as well, man. Can't wait. See everybody.
Yeah. Are you spending any extra time in Hawaii?
No, I'm not actually. I'll be there on Saturday, and I'll be leaving on from the 5th to the 9th. No extra time.
Right. Yeah. Hi, James.
Hey, Coach. Hey, Gary.
Hello, everybody.
Yeah. How many times have you been there, Gary?
I lost count, Bill. Honestly, I think about it. It's amazing. We've been there so much, and my kids now go Hawaii again. It's like, oh my God.
Easy jaunt from California, isn't it? Only about 4.5 hour, 5 hour plane ride.
That's it, 4.5.
Yeah. Yeah. We've been there, I think, north of 19, 20 times.
Yeah, exactly. So you just, but you still never see it all. You know that, right? Just even though you never see, there's so many islands. It's like you haven't really seen it all.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we've been to all the islands, but company trip is different than a normal trip,
right?
Because we wouldn't be going. All the trips that our company's taken us throughout the decades, we wouldn't have gone there, and we wouldn't have done those things. And have you found that out in your own life that you almost need a trip to force you to do something sometimes because you can get too busy with the kids? Talk about that for a second, Gary.
Well, yeah, absolutely. I mean, in the self-discovery, of this, where you're building your Primerica business and you focus on whatever you do, whether it be Primerica or a job, you just get so caught up in the mundane, in the grind, they call that, the rat race, going after whatever you're trying to go after, whether it be more money, whether it be paying off some bills, buying a car, buying a house, and the kids' college. And then you're in Primerica's scenario where you're not forced, but you earn a company incentive like this. You get there and go, wow, I would have never played this golf course. I would never know there was a golf course here, or I never thought about that before. I never even been to, before Primerica, I never been to a nice hotel. Our hotels were always in between state to state, going to visit family. And they weren't the Ritz-Carlton. They were the Motel 6s and whatever is on the side of the road kind of deal. Until I got in Primerica, I think I only been on an airplane, Bill, actually, before Primerica one time.
Yeah,
I was going to a church. Yeah, one time. But what's awesome about it, though, my children, they were raised, obviously, in Primerica their whole life, and their experience of the world is different. They hop on a plane and they go to Dubai like me and you would hop on a plane and go, to Hawaii. Because they're used to it. They're jet setters. They have millions and millions of travel miles, frequent flyer miles, and they're only 27 years old, 28 years old. Well, yeah. So sometimes you, as my friend Les Brown said, you don't know, you don't know.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting you bring that up because your children wouldn't be doing this if you didn't have that dream. For one, they wouldn't have the time, they wouldn't have the money, they wouldn't even have the encouragement. And how your decisions and the kind of business you want to create and build either leaves a lasting legacy for your family or a so-so life for your family. And you could be in Primerica and have a so-so life.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We're going to talk about that today, aren't we?
Yes.
Being in Primerica and having a so-so life. I'll tell you this, without trying to be offensive, but I never understood how a person can own a business but have an employee life. I figured if you're going to take the risk of an entrepreneur, get a reward for it. If I'm going to take all the risks, sign a lease, staff in the office, I'm dealing with whatever the scenario is, whether it be a bad economy, good economy, customer service, competition, branding myself, advertising. If I'm going to take on all that stress and get an employee paycheck, I'm not saying go get a job, but I'm just saying at least at a job, you clock out at 5 o'clock and leave all the mess to the owner. But if you're going to take on the ownership risk, you should get a reward for it.
Well, we have James Watkins, and he's co-hosting today. We're going to be asking you questions along the way. And we'll start out, Gary, by talking about Art Williams' vision. I saw a video Saturday on the whole purpose of him creating this company is for us to build a company within a company. And RVP is not a contract. It's the right to produce RVPs who have RVPs who have RVPs. And he constantly talked about 7 who get 7 who get 7. But somewhere along the way, and I don't want to talk about the company and what it's doing or not doing, people have to make up their own decisions. Well, how come the company's not pushing? It has nothing to do with the company. It has everything to do with what you want out of this. And so when we talk about creating RVPs, we talk about, and I call you one of the last Jedis, about the Art Williams multiplication power system that he talks about continually. And why do you think you're one of the last Jedi? Why, again, I hate, why is not everyone else doing this? I don't care why everyone else is doing this. Why have you chosen to do this and to manufacture and create and produce RVPs when the rest of the company is not even talking about it? Talk about that, Gary, then I'll open it up to James.
I'll tell you this, Bill, just 2 scenarios I can give you of why. Number one, when I got involved in Primerica / it was A.L. Williams then, it wasn't Primerica, my cousin Bertha is the one that took me to this meeting. I would have never heard of Primerica. I was not interested in doing anything outside of what I was already doing. And I had a 9-to-5 job as an EMT. My goal was to be a paramedic with the fire department. So I was 19 when I got that job. I didn't care about the little $5 hours they were paying me because I knew at 19 years old, hey, you got to serve first. You got to make the minimum wage income to one day get with the fire department and make the real money. And at that time, real money for me was $1,800 a month. I heard the paramedic, the fire department was making $1,800 a month. This is 1987, 83, I mean. I'm like, man, if I could make $1,800 a month, Bill, that's a lot of money, So I was focused on going to the academy, the fire academy. And then on the weekends, I DJ'd, making extra money, but that was something I did like a hobby. I enjoyed the music business. So my cousin took me to a Primerica meeting. I only went because she's my cousin, and we're family. I don't know anybody else in this meeting. And all of a sudden, she takes me to a Primerica meeting. I hear Art Williams speak on a video that they played at the end of the meeting. And I liked Art. Art said, we don't care who you are, where you come from, we're going to give you a chance to be somebody. I remember that like he said it yesterday. And that's the only thing I heard in the meeting, to be honest with you. Other than the fact they did draw on the whiteboard, if you replace a whole life policy with a term policy, you start at 25%. I'm not a good percentage guy. When they wrote $250, which is really what I'm in there here for, to make money, I went, oh, $250? She said it takes about an hour? I'm making $5 an hour. I go, if I made 1 sale a week, I quit my job. Because I don't need to make all this money. My brain's locked in at $800 a month being a paramedic. Here's the problem. My cousin did not join the company. I joined under a total stranger. This lady walked up to me. Could have been anybody on the Zoom, could have walked up to me. I was that motivated to get involved. And she said, hi, my name is Debbie. You were here on Tuesday night. I go, yes, I was. She goes, do you want to join? I didn't know the word join was even a word in the corporate world. I thought, do you want to get hired? So I go, okay, I'll join. And she came to my house and put my IBA in under her. Off I go work with some total stranger. My cousin Bertha decided to not do the business. Here's the problem with that. I lived in the inner city of Los Angeles. When I was booking my appointments, my field trained appointments, people would stand me up. I'm talking about the Primerica agents. The A.L. Williams agents wouldn't show up on the appointments because they didn't want to come to what they perceived as being the hood. So now I'm an abandoned agent. I'm out here by myself trying to explain A.L. Williams. I'm telling people that people are making money, but I have no money to show them. I probably owed them money talking about making money. And so my credibility sucked when it comes to the entrepreneurship. So I said, if I ever make money in this company, I'm going to be there for the new guy. I'm going to be the one that's going to be on the front line showing the new guy's auntie, mom, dad, skeptical brother that this really works until that new guy gets to the point where he can hold his own. That's one thing. Okay, so I made that commitment. to do that. Second thing happened to me. After I started making money, obviously doing very well in the business, what I perceive was well, which is $20,000 a month. I meet with our former CEO, 3 or 4 CEOs back, Joe Plumeri, and he didn't obviously like A.L. Williams, which I didn't even know that. You know, I'm way in California. Why would I know that? And I sit down with him on our annual reviews that we do when you're part of the field cabinet. And here's what he said to me. He says, Gary, I like you. Okay, now Joe's Italian, so he has that whole Italian swag. You know, Gary, I like you. But when I think about you, I think about A.L. Williams, and that's not good. Now,
Wow.
I would take it as the ultimate compliment. When you think of me, you think of A.L. Williams, like for real? But then he hit it up by saying, and that's not good. So now at that point, I no longer like Joe. You're now, I don't like you. I know I flew all the way out here because you were doing good until you said that. You can't talk about my daddy and expect for me to sit here and go, okay. So that's when I said, okay, somebody in this company don't like Art Williams. I didn't even know that, okay? And then that set me on a mission to say, well, I'm gonna keep this man's story alive as long as I can. But I have to do it on the front line. I can't do it from the stage because it'll piss people off. But I'll do it at the kitchen table when I'm on my stage in my office. And that's why I'm still doing it to this day, if that makes sense to you.
Well, Gary, it's obvious that you are one of the few people that still think you can build big hierarchies here, lasting hierarchies here. And James, talk about that for a second. And that's got to be your mindset. So Gary, James, what kind of questions do you have of Gary about building something?
Well, it's very good already, Gary. Like I said, you made a major impact over my career throughout the years. And so I love to hear you talk. But, one of the things that I can't shake is I was with Art Martinez last year, and you guys did your event here in Dallas. And Art said, I am so thankful that Gary made the change and put us into a position where we could build a business and have freedom versus the way he was doing it. So I guess, could you talk on that? What are some of the things that you did? What was the change in your mindset to get out of kind of, just selling and working in the business and building the business?
Sure. What I'll do, I'll share my screen with you, and I'll share my story in this PowerPoint, but it'll be a lesson mixed in with the story, if you don't mind.
Absolutely.
Okay, here we go. And by the way, this is going to be a whole lecture, so pull out some notepad, a pen and paper, because I'm going to ask you to ask some questions as I'm delivering this message to you, okay? So I want to start back by telling you really my story as it relates to why you want to build distribution versus sales. All right, so 1991, I'm skipping past. I joined in 88. I made 31,000 my first year, 78,000 my second year. I made 123,000 my third year. My third year would be 1990, 1991. All right, now back then, $100,000 a year was $100,000 a year. So what do? You go out there and you live the lifestyle of the rich and famous. And I move out of the hood, and I move into a nice community with my wife. We had no children at the time. It was just me and Pat, and we're making $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 a month, and it was all from my personal sales, because I grew up in a hierarchy that taught sales. And I'm a motivated guy. I'm not lazy, and I know I can outproduce anybody on this Zoom right now as we speak. Personally, I can outproduce you, and I can outwork you, because my daddy did give me the gift of work. Okay, so I had the cars, the homes, the nice suits. I had the nice office. I mean, things are going great, right? So from 1991, 92, my wife gets pregnant with my son somewhere around January, February. So we have a baby coming. In November, I go, I'm excited, right? We got a new baby coming. All of a sudden, we get a new home, new baby coming. Things are great. Got new cars for her, new car for me. We're living the dream. I'm 29 at that point. And she's actually 28. This is 1993. You know what happened? I go home one day and I get an envelope. And that envelope, I open it up. It was a brown envelope. And guess what it was? A letter from the IRS. right? I never got a letter from IRS for it because when you make $5 an hour, they don't bother you. Okay, I just heard, I didn't even care about the IRS at that point in my life. Who is that? All of a sudden I open that letter and they want to do an audit. What's an audit? I don't know what an audit is. Okay, call the number. So I called the number. I don't know about a CPA. And I mean, I got H&R Block doing my taxes at $20,000 a month. Okay, they charge like $40. Okay, I don't know anything about a CPA. You know, what is a CPA? So I called the IRS directly without a CPA. And I was so naive about this, Bill Orender. I had them come to my office to do the audit. And in the midst of them trying to audit me, I'm trying to recruit the IRS lady by showing her my income and bragging about my income. And Bill shakes his head like, that's crazy, right? And I'm talking about, I got a new house, I got a new car, and I'm from South Central, and this company gave me a chance, and I made $20,000 a month. And I'm just racking up all these points, I think, with her, like, this guy's the stupidest guy on the planet, okay? So guess what happened? After they do a 3 or 4 day audit, they say, you owe us $110,000. Well, $110,000 is no money to me today. That's actually about 15 days of my income, okay? But back then, it was a gazillion dollars to me. Now, again, James, I'm thinking, okay, I owe you $110,000. I don't have it, but let's do a payment plan. She says, we don't do payment plans until you get rid of this nice house. You can't tell us you can't pay us with 2 fancy cars and a nice house. So if you want to do a monthly payment, you got to reduce your expenses. You mean lose the house? You mean get rid of the cars? You mean go back to the hood? Well, we're not going to do an offer compromise. Give us $110,000 or we start seizing things, freezing things, judgments and tax liens. That's when I knew I was in trouble, James. Because you know why? I didn't build a business. It was based upon me physically doing all the work. I felt like I was a prisoner all alone by myself. I didn't tell my wife the situation. I didn't want to stress her out. I now got a house that I can't afford. I owe the IRS money. They want to garnish my Primerica wages. This is all internally being held inside of me. But my wife says, honey, let's just sell the house. It's too big anyways for our small family. Plus, I don't even like BMWs. I like Volvos. That's what my wife literally told me. I bought a new BMW. I thought I was doing something. Then Mike Sharp asked me a question, Bill Orender. What is your business worth without you? Now, Mike Sharp doesn't know I'm going through this. He's just my uplines. And I was doing very well, about $100,000 base shop back then. Okay, but I was doing probably 20, 30,000 myself. He says, what is your business worth without you? And I couldn't answer that question. I never really thought about it, Mike Sharp. That was my answer. I never really thought about what is my business worth without me. And I'm asking every single one of you guys that question right now in 2022. What is your business worth without you? Do not be entertained by my story. You should be listening to me and going, uh-oh, I think he's talking to me. Maybe for you, it's not the IRS. Maybe for you, it's old age. Maybe for you, it's COVID-19. Maybe for you, it's a parent that needs your help because they have dementia or an autistic child. Maybe for you, your IRS is something else that makes you realize, oh, shoot, I built a prison for myself because I didn't build distribution. But because I thought about it so much, I got to build distribution. I got to get in this recruiting game. I got to start teaching how to do what I'm doing. I got to replicate myself. And I kept thinking, I got to find somebody. I got to do this. I'm sick of this lifestyle. So here's what happens. I did a self-evaluation. This is where you guys are going to start taking notes. Change only takes place when the person can be honest with themselves. See, if you're lying to yourself and saying, I'm okay, I'm fine, I don't need all that money. I don't need a new neighborhood. If my kids want to go to college, they got to get their own education. They get a scholarship. You know, you start trying to lie to yourself and saying, I'm doing okay. Why want you guys to write down right now all of your direct recruits, licensed and unlicensed. For some of y'all, take a little longer. Then I want you to also write down, when you get some time, okay, Write down only your direct licensed agents from that list. So once you make the list of licensed and unlicensed, it says 50 people, write down only the ones that are direct to you that are licensed. Write down your direct licensed active agents from that list, because just because they're direct and licensed don't mean they're active. That plug into 80 to 100% of your meetings, face-to-face or online. Write down your licensed agents that close at least $5,000 in personal premium on an average each month. So what I'm trying to do here is get you down to the process of elimination. But I'm also forcing you to be honest with the real number. People lie, numbers don't lie. So here it is. Write down the average base shop premium over the last 90 days. And maybe you had a good month last month, a bad month the month before. So we do 90 days. So let's say you have $50,000, which you've averaged in your base shop in the last 90 days. Deduct your personal premium from that, and that is considered net premium. That means if you were at home with COVID-19 and you couldn't write that 10 grand, your real raw number is 40,000, not 50. Now, if you have a hierarchy, write down your total hierarchy through thirds for the last 90 days. Same thing, but you probably have a bigger number. So let's say it's 250,000 through thirds. But I want you to deduct your base shop premium, right? Because what if you don't have a base shop one day? What if you want to take a vacation? What if you want to just be off the grid for a year or two? Then that's your net premium. Write down your average monthly income for the last 90 days. The good month, bad month, don't matter. What is your average? Let's say it's 20,000 a month. Take away from that 20,000 what you personally earned with your pen, your sales, your personal commissions. Deduct that from that number in this scenario. So your actual override is 9,000 a month, not 20,000 a month. Now take that 9,000 a month, times it by 12. In this case, it's $108,000 a year. That is your real passive income. See, override / passive income is based on you not personally producing. And if you shut your base shop down, someone else is running their base shops and you're receiving passive income. It says here, J. Paul Getty, Builder Orender, knows this quote: I'd rather have 1% of the efforts of 100 people than I have 100% of my own. What is passive income? Passive income is the economic method of receiving reoccurring income from creating, investing, or building something once with the potential of getting paid forever. I'll read it again. Passive income is an economic method of receiving reoccurring income from creating, investing, or building something once with the potential of getting paid forever. So there's several ways to make money. Stocks. We know stocks, you can create passive income from stocks. So let's say you're a guy that says, well, I like the stock market. Okay, no problem. So pay close attention. I want you to compare it to Primerica. Did you know it takes a large investment of $20 million with the average return of 5% to generate $1 million a year in passive income? So if you got $20 million laying around the house, go dump it into the stock market, but make sure you get 5%, okay, at least, and you'll get $1 million a year in passive income. And people do it all the time. Real estate, all my real estate friends out there, it takes a minimum of 351 rental properties that are fully occupied with an average net profit of $238 per door to generate $1 million a year. So if you got to find an apartment building that's 351 doors, fully occupied, you can make $1 million a year. Okay, now what do you think it costs to get a building that has 351 doors? Probably 60 million. How about all you franchisees out there? It would take the purchase of 13 franchises with the average franchise fee of $75,000 to $250,000 to net an annual income of $1 million a year. So buy 13 Subways and you can make $1 million a year, but you got to buy them first. Network marketing, right? Amway, Shackley, Herbalife, right? These multi-market companies that are out there. It says here, the average $1 million earner in network marketing industry has an average active organization of 200,000 distributors, many of them purchasing the products for their own personal consumption. If you're in the music business, it takes a minimum of 200 million streams of one song to generate $1 million a year. And remember, that song gets old every day. So you gotta be willing to produce song number 2, because song number 1 is not gonna play forever. Book royalties. It takes a minimum of 7,700,000 book sales. Okay, remember, it's gotta happen every year to net income of $1 million. The average margins is 13%. For every $25 book that you sell, you net about 13% of that. YouTubers, you want your own YouTube channel. It takes 125 million views of that one video. And remember, you got to do more videos, okay, to generate a passive income of $1 million a year. But in Primerica, it only takes 9 direct RVPs, which makes you an SNSD, with 350 licensed agents through seconds, writing 1 sale per month to make $1 million a year. And folks, I'm just showing you the insurance side, not the security side, not the lending side, not the auto. I'm just showing you the life side. So it says here, an effective leader replicates himself, okay, not duplicates himself, by leading from the bottom and not from the top. Going under the pile and pushing people up, hence Art Williams' book, okay, is a well-earned and deserved passive income strategy. It's the snowball effect where you give it a little push from behind for a few years, and then it picks up momentum using compound efforts to create exponential growth. See, bosses want to lead from the top. I did it, you go do it. I believe if you're a leader, you go under the pile and you help your downlines, 3, 4 generations deep. That's where you find the winner at. And you push up versus looking down from the top. You go under the pile and push it. So let's do the magic of the numbers. I love this. Art Williams showed me this in 2003. I like to fell out the chair. I mean, I thought I knew math, but I realized I don't know crap about math. 3 recruits direct to you, James, in the month of March. The next month, April, you go get 3 more. That's a total of 6, by the way. In the month of May, go get 3 more. You have a total of 9. In the month of June, go get 3 more direct to you. That's a total of 12 directs. Wow, James, a ball buster. He got 12 directs. But James, if you'd have took that same energy and said, hold on a second, I got 3. Let me go downline and help them get 3. That's 9, added to the 3, by the way. Let me help those 9 get their 3. That's 27, added to the 9, added to the 3. Then let me help these last 27 get their 3. That's 81, added to the 27, added to the 9, added to the 3. You have 120 people on your team doing it that way versus 12. And it took the same exact time. It took March, April, May, and June on both sides. When I saw this, I went, oh my God. I was trained, no disrespect, by my uplines, to you go do it first, keep hiring directs, it'll happen, it'll happen, it'll happen, it'll happen. It would never happen, Bill Orender. It would never happen. I go, I'm hiring directs. I'm not a lazy guy. 5 years later, I'm hiring directs. Why won't they do it? Just keep doing it. And they'll do it. And it never happened. Not realizing I could have went under them and supported them. Then I heard my dad would say from the pulpit of the church, the giver always wins. See, when you kind of hire directs and you keep hiring directs, but you're not really helping them, you're a taker. But the giver always wins. So I love this quote to the right. In that scenario, it doesn't die, it multiplies. The power of tap rooting. See, if I was to tell you right now to prioritize these particular occupations at the top, you got the doctor, he's important, the school teacher, the actor, the financial advisor, the athlete, a police officer, a truck driver, everybody's important. But if I was to tell you to write down in order of which one's more important, okay, from the highest to the lowest, most people probably put the doctor at the top, right? Maybe a school teacher, maybe an officer. What if I told you the trucker is the most important position? Because if he doesn't deliver the medicine to the doctor or the equipment to do surgery, there ain't no doctor doing a surgery. If he doesn't deliver the books to the school and the tables and the brick and mortar to build the school, see, the trucker, the guy who controls distribution, is the guy that feeds everybody else. Now, if you think I'm kidding you, in 1997, the truckers went on strike, and President Clinton had to sign an executive order to force them to go back to work because every day $1 billion was being lost because they were not moving product throughout the country. Those guys we look at as being a trucker, oh my God, you're a trucker? They're the most important person in the game. The system. The people must trust the system. The system should never trust the people. Ray Kroc, the founder of McDonald's. You recruit, here's a system. You recruit Gary Kornegay. You field train him first. That means you go kick the tires in my market. You see if I want to do this. Get it? You may take me to see my family. I might decide I don't want to do this. And then after I go do some field training appointments and you build me 3 with 3 or what have you, then you promote me, hopefully to district. I pre-qualified. Could you help me? Then send me to class. Now, if you look at a Primerica structure, you look at Glenn Williams, he shows the same exact system, nothing different. Recruit, field train, pre-promote, get licensed. It says here under recruiting, the only way to create and build long-term passive income with the potential of steady growth is through having a system where recruiting never stops. If you don't embrace recruiting, your business is only as good as your last transaction. Field training. Field training is the best way to save on the exorbitant cost of ads, leads, websites, billboards, commercials, and social media marketing to generate product sales. A trainee with a natural market is 1,000% more effective and less costly in generating new business if the recruit has credibility, people skills, work ethic, and they're competitive. Oh, this is really good, you guys. I hope you guys are paying attention. This is so good. Promotions. Promotions drive activity with a sense of urgency and creates momentum needed to cause the explosion to move your business from a regional to a national within a shorter period of time. If your team isn't fighting for their next promotion, you will inevitably experience stagnation in all areas of your business. Licensing. The ultimate goal is to experience true freedom. And real freedom can only come from having hundreds, if not thousands, of licensed agents in your thriving organization. You can recruit the whole world to your business and still not have 1 ounce of freedom simply because you are just running numbers to get sales versus building distribution centers of competent, professional people who can execute the process without your engagement. The 4 phases of building your system. Phase 1, the foundation. You create your mission statement. Why are you doing Primerica? What do you want your team? See, Art Williams had the mission statement, right? A company where salespeople are king. That was his mission statement. It was not who could sell the most. It was a company where salespeople were king. I was in a meeting one time with Art Williams, 8,000 people in Atlanta at a convention when he had left and came back and spoke in 1993, December. He stands on stage and he says, the sales force, he said, the home office works for the sales force. The sales force don't work for the home office. And that's the founder of a company. That's 1,800 employees' boss. The boss of your company, I'm not talking about the boss of us, the distributors, I'm talking about the home office staff. Their boss, the founder, told them, you work for the sales force does not work for you. Because his mission statement said, this is a company where salespeople are king. Bill Orender alluded to it. A business within a business, a company within a company. What is your mission statement? Select your core players. Don't just throw people against the wall in the foundation stage. Art Williams knew I got my core 6. Virginia Carter, Bob Turley, Bob Weeson, Bob Miller, Fred Marceau, Frank Deneen. He had his crew. He could have hired 1,000 people, just like Christ could have had 40 directs, but he had 12 and one quit on him, right? Got to have at least one guy quit. Training your core guys, teach them the core of what you believe. Buy terms, that's the difference. The theory of increased responsibility. Build a relationship with them when they're hurting. Go check on them. This is your core. This is your inner circle. It ain't about premium. It ain't about money all the time. These people, you trust them and they gotta trust you. Go wide fast. Don't just recruit one and spend all your life with that one person. Go get 2 or 3, then build downline. Sell them the vision. We're gonna beat up Prudential. We're gonna knock, Art has shirts. I hate Pru. Why Pru, Art? Why not I hate State Farm? Because they were number 1. It was nothing personal. They were number 1. I hate Pru bad. Phase 2 of your building your business. The concentration stage. Now you got your core. Train them how to train. Don't train them how to sell. The first thing we do wrong, Bill, we recruit Bob, and the minute Bob joins, we teach him how to sell. We should be teaching them how to teach. Replicate. That means everything comes from you to your people. Don't let your downline, blind leading the blind. That's called duplicate. You want to replicate. See, if I hand you a movie, let's say I have a DVD of a movie and it's the master. They shot the movie, I happen to work for the industry, let's say, and I have the master of the first Star Wars movie. And I say to you, hey, Bill Orender, guess what I have on me? What? I have the actual master of the movie Star Wars. He says, can you make me a copy? Well, I made Bill Orender a copy. That's called replication because it got it directly from the source. Bill takes that movie home and he's watching it. James walks in and says, what are you watching, Bill? He goes, my friend Gary Kornegay gave me a copy of this movie, the first ever Star Wars. James says, hey, can I get a copy? And Bill goes, absolutely, give me a CD. And Bill burns a copy of his copy. Well, that's duplication. That is not replication. See, in this system, you want to tell James, you don't want to get it from me. It's going to be a lesser version. Let me give you Gary's phone number, and you take that blank DVD and let Gary give you it straight from his computer because you'll get a better version, if that makes sense to you. Taproot 3 generations deep. That's where you find the winners at, 3 and 4 generations deep. Monitor the system. Make sure the guys are following the blueprint. Be a little micromanager here. It's okay. You don't want a guy doing the wrong thing. Let them fail forward. They're going to make mistakes. As long as they're trying to move forward, we're going to get better at this. Sell them the dream, not just a vision of being Prudential. I'm using Art as an example. Sell them the dream. We're going to be wealthy. Our team's going to be wealthy. Go pick out the home you want. Go pick out the office you want. This event is going to happen at some point. Then momentum kicks in. Woo-hoo. If you didn't take shortcuts on number 1, number 2, exponential growth. 3 get 3 get 3, it just gets crazy. The multiples. You got to fuel it with incentives, right? You got to say, okay, whoever does this, we're going to give you a t-shirt. We're going to give you a hat. We'll have you over for a potluck. We'll have you at Bill Orender's house. We're going to fly you in to see Gary Kornegay at Beverly Hills. Incentives. At that point, everything's great. You're in a kumbaya state, right? There's nothing you can do wrong. You get national recognition. People now know your name. The Barragons will get national recognition. You're starting to actually live the dream. Your wife finally quits her job because you don't need her income anymore. Your kids go from public school to private school. You move in a better neighborhood. Your whole church now know because you're tithing more. And then you hit stability. And I try to stay away from this one, Bill. This is where Primerica is right now. Don't get mad at Primerica. As Bill said, they're in the stability stage. Brand recognition. They're big on reputation. You know now Primerica talks a lot about reputation, brand recognition, control growth. We don't just want to recruit anybody. They'll mess us up. We don't want to do 3 by 3 by 3. Why? Because we're regular who comes in the door now. We have a lot to lose. Compliance becomes a big deal. Now they want a global presence. Let's move out of the United States. Let's open up in other countries. Let's create new products. Why? Because we got the sales force. Once we got the bodies and their license, we can now add in Vivid. We can add in loans. We can add in whatever the hell we want to. I mean, the ultimate insult to us, Bill, okay, my opinion, is when they start selling alarms. That made me go, they don't care. These guys don't care. We're now selling alarms under protection management. Well, I guess we'll start selling guns. That's protection management. Are you with me? It's like, what's going on here? Don't get mad at Primerica. They have distribution. They have the biggest team because they want to try to transfer wealth to the next generation. They want to make sure when our children get this company, it's not messed up, become some dumb get in and ruin the company because of something he does or something. So moving on, we're going to get to the end here. The prototype. You got to create the first prototype. See, Ray Kroc went to Illinois, right? We lived in Illinois, he went to San Diego, California, and he saw the first McDonald's. And he saw the prototype. Well, you got to become the prototype, and then you produce 9 first. If you produce 9 first generation RVPs, you get 15% of their production. But I get 110% on my own. Exactly. You better not get sick. You better not take a vacation. Folks, 15% on 9 RVPs is better than 110% on yourself. If they follow suit and do what you're doing because you're living the dream, and those 9 get 9, that's 81 second generation, 10% on. If those 81 believe that they can get 9, and they saw your 9 get 9, right? That's 729 on third generation, you get 5%. If those 729 believe that they can get 9, and they saw you do it, you got 6,561 RVPs on your 4th level, you get 1.75%. Now, if those 6,500 believe they can get 9, you got 59,000 RVPs on your 5th level, you get 0.75. If those 59,000 believe that they could just get 9, and what one man could do, another man or woman could do better. So if you got 9, guess what I believe? That I can get 9. That's 531,000 RVPs on your 6th level, and you get 0.75. Now, I know when I show these numbers, your head explodes. But Art Williams believed that it could happen. Hey, Primerica has 6,000 RVPs. They're up that 4th level right there. They got 6,000. This started with just one man, and Primerica believes they could do it. Then why can't Gary believe that he could do the same thing? But what does it pay? Well, if you have 9 first generations and they're averaging 10, some will do 100, you have the killers, right? They want to have a big base shop. Some will do 30, some will do, but let's say the average do 10. Well, 9 RVPs direct to you doing 10,000 premium is $90,000 through first. Your override is 15%. You actually get paid $13,000. That's your pay. Now, this is before the 75% advance. If those 9 first get their 9 because they saw you making $13,000 in passive income, well, you now have 81 seconds, as I mentioned. If they're doing 10,000 in premium each average, That's 810,000. Well, that sure beats that 90,000. But I'm only getting 10%, Gary. My pay is going down. No, it's not actually. You're actually up to 81,000 on your second level and 13 on your first. And if you get 81 people to believe that they can get 9, that's 729 RVPs. If they're averaging 10,000 in premium, that's 7,200,000 in monthly premium through thirds. I'm sorry, at third. That's not even through. Because you got to add the 810 and the 90 to get a higher number. You get 5%. I hear people talking about generational creep. Oh my God, the generational creep is hurting my income. That's not what's hurting your income. What's hurting your income is you don't have a larger number on the third than you have on the second, and you don't have a larger number on the second than you have on your first. That's why your pay is going down. Well, I'd rather take $364,000 in overrides on my thirds and add it to the 81 on my seconds and the 13 on my first. Well, if you add that up, that's a total of 819 RVPs. You're doing $8.1 million in premium. Your average overrides, I took the 15, the 10, and the 5. I divided into 3, and your average override is only 5.5%, but you're making $459,000 a month. A month. You can't tell Danny Berrigan that it don't work. Don't sit and tell me that's unrealistic. Well, guess what? A black man from South Central LA with no college education making $220,000 a month in overrides is unrealistic. Everything we do about Primerica is unrealistic. Am I right? We started the company being unrealistic. When did realistic become a thing for A.L. Williams? We were never realistic. Now everybody's talking about being realistic. You can't do anything. You think Martin Luther King was realistic? Name someone who's done something great. Come on, Winston Churchill, realistic? Think Michael Jordan's thinking realistic? Tiger Woods, realistic? LeBron James, realistic? Well, come on, Stafford, right? You suck. You've been in the league 12 years. Got to get rid of you. Okay, he switches teams to the Rams, and he wins his first year. Because he wasn't thinking realistic. But if you listen to the naysayers, hey, bro, you suck. Just take your money and go home, dude. You've been in the league 12 years. You got to guarantee retirement. Tom Brady, you got 7 rings. I mean, how many do you need, Tom? So don't think realistic. James, I'm turning it back over to you. That was really good.
Gary,
Man, that was awesome.
I'm going to make a comment. Wow. And, I wish they had a person in home office in charge of mass distribution anymore. I wish that were you. James, go ahead. That's why we call you one of the last Jedi.
I mean, Coach, honestly, hey, I mean, after that, I mean, there's nothing that could be said. I mean, you nailed it. So I just want to echo what Coach is saying. Gary is awesome.
Thank you for the opportunity to serve. They got it recorded. Maybe you get a copy and play it back 1,000 times. You have to. Okay, you got to get it in your DNA. You got to get out that other system, all that other stuff that's inside you. Go and do some house cleaning spiritually. Stop trying to be a financial advisor. Okay, remember what I said. When Primerica came out with Vivid, that was the ultimate insult to you. That you will sell alarms, you will sell whatever. That is not a financial product. I'm sorry, you can't piss on me and tell me it's raining. That is not a financial, alarms is not a financial product. Okay, but they call it protection management because they hooked up with Vivid so we can make money while we're waiting to get licensed. We can sell alarms, and we can go into people's homes that are homeowners, and we can get there and flip it to life insurance, but nobody does that. And then they quit and go work directly with Vivid because Vivid says, you work with us, you'd have made 800 on that alarm, not 200. So you just train your whole team to work for, I hate to say it, for Rocket Mortgage. Because they're going to bitch say, I like the mortgage side. I got one check for $20,000 instead of a chargeback check and a delivered policy. you know what? I'm gonna work directly with Rocket because you trained me to work for Rocket. I only believe in one company.
Go ahead.
I believe in one company, that's Primerica Life. Not saying that we don't sell the other stuff, but I believe in Primerica Life. You know why? Because we own it. It's ours. They can't leave us. Yes, Bill.
You know, Gary, you are not only have it in your head, but you are leaving a ripple effect to affect countless thousands of lives versus, you know, I know people are financial advisors. At max, they may have 200, 300 clients that, by the way, are going to get wealthy without them. Talk about that, Gary, and how it is our responsibility, and we owe it to the people coming behind us to offer them this same system that made you wealthy and provided for your family like you are.
Well, first of all, when it comes to going after, okay, Bill, I live in Beverly Hills, right? So I live at the top of this building. I mean, I have the top floor. I have a 360 view of LA. Beverly Hills, Hollywood, I can see everything, including the Santa Monica Beach, okay? When I stand on my deck with people that come over to visit me, right? I love this. Jake Fouger was with me about 3 weeks ago at the Super Bowl, 4 weeks ago, and he brought two of his guys. They were just mesmerized by the place, right? And they said, what's this over here? I go, well, that's Beverly Hills to your left. That's Hollywood Hills, right? I go, there's South Central LA where I grew up at. That's to your right over here. I go, gentlemen, the people to my left did not help me get here. It's the people to my right, the middle-class families. Don't you ever get it fooled. Don't ever let it fool you. I am not here because of these people. These people that want to do large rollovers, they look at me like I'm a servant. They think they're doing me a favor by letting me invest their money. When I go to somebody's house to the right, they thank me for coming to their home. Mm-hmm. Because I sat on their beanbag. I sat on their crate in some cases. Sometimes had to stand up because they didn't have 3 chairs and do a presentation to that single mother, to that middle-class family that was looking for a break. That's who I'm here to serve. Now, if you want me to roll over $1 million, send it to me. But I'm not going to sit here and try to hang out like I'm bougie and because I'm rich, I am, but I don't hang out with the people in my high rise. I use my high rise to bring people over there that want to join my team that are the valet parking guys. I've hired 3 valet parking guys in my building already. I haven't hired one celebrity. I see them in the elevators, right? And I say, hi, I'm respectful, but I really talk to the porter that brings up my groceries. So the financial advisor brain says, I'm professional. I want people to see my card and think that I am somebody. Okay, go try to get a job directly with Morgan Stanley. You know what they're gonna tell you, James? You're in the mailroom. You go, well, I have under management. I have assets under management of 100 million. They go, that's our starter guy.
You know, Gary, I think what's hidden behind everything you just did, and I think you showed it, is your passion. You have to have a crusade. Like Art said, you have to see yourself involved in something bigger than your business. There's a crusade behind everything you showed. Talk about that. And you have to find your own crusade. We are crusaders to the core.
Yes, absolutely. Who's at my house? Oh, a PHP guy. You know, that's another company spin off from a 3rd generation wannabe Primerican. And so I had these 3 guys in my house 2 weeks ago. And I'm recruiting them is what I thought. You know, I thought they were coming to take a look at the opportunity. So I do like I do with anybody else. You know, it was like a group meeting at my kitchen table. And I quickly learned that the guy to my right was not here to listen. He was there to debate me in my house, you know? And so every time I would say something, like, yeah, but there's some good policies other than term. Oh, yeah, but you guys don't have the cheapest terms. I went, oh, wow. I said, okay, I thought you guys were here. What do you do for a living? He goes, well, I'm with PHP, and these are my 2 recruits. And then they say to me, we did not invite him. He invited himself. We told him we were coming to hear about Primerica, and he wanted to come. So we thought he was coming to learn, right? So the recruit that was there, not even recruit, she was a prospect, told him, I did not bring you here to do this. I want to listen to what he has to say. I already bought a policy from you. She told on him, I bought a policy from you. I researched Primerica, and your company, PHP, has a bunch of complaints already, and the year just got started. That's what she tells him. The year just got started. You have 192 complaints. Okay? I've already researched Primerica. I want to hear this man out. If you need to leave, you can leave. This is the prospect telling her friend. I went, damn, well, I ain't got to say nothing. So, so he's listening for him. I said, sir, listen to me. Okay? How did your company start? Now, he's only been in the business. By the way, I'm not going to give the guy a hard time. He's literally been in the business like 4 months, okay? I said, how did your company start? He says, well, Patrick Bet Davis, our CEO. I go, I didn't ask you that. How did it start? I go, can I tell you how it started? And then I told him how his company started. And let me tell you why there'll never be another Primerica. Because in order for our company to start, somebody's father had to die of a heart attack at age 48. So if you can create a death, you can recreate A.L. Williams. See, we are a crusade. You keep comparing us to you as though we're an insurance company. I go, do you understand how the police department works? In the police department, in every police department, there's a police department that polices the police. It's called internal affairs. Police officers hate internal affairs. They both have a badge, but one badge is to watch the bad guys. I go, if this was the police department, A.L. Williams is internal affairs. We have a license to put you out of business. We only have a license to watch you. We're not in business selling insurance. I said, you need to understand, we're a real crusade. You got involved to make money, and Patrick Bet David got involved to make money, and he came from WFG, and they got involved to make money. And WG came from WMA, Hubert Humphrey, and he got involved to make money. But Hubert's daddy didn't die. Art Williams' father died. So we're not looking for salespeople. We're looking for crusaders. Bill, have you ever heard of a clothing line? Now James knows this, right? But I'm going to ask Bill. Have you ever heard of a clothing line called FUBU?
No. Well, yeah, I've seen it. Yeah.
Okay, Damon John, who's on Shark Tank, the only African-American on Shark Tank, he founded that actual clothing line called FUBU. Now, let me tell you what that means, okay? Tommy Hilfiger, everybody knows who Tommy is, was on an actual TV show, talk show back in the 90s. And he made a comment. And I understand his comment. It was not a racist comment. It was a business comment. He said, I did not make my clothes for people to be wearing the jeans hanging off their butts, like the rappers do. That's all he said. Well, Damon John was a young man at the time, fashion guy, said, I'm gonna start my own clothing line for Blacks. I'm gonna call it FUBU, for us, by us. Okay, a crusade clothing line, for us, by us. FUBU. Guess what A.L. Williams is? FUBU. We recruit the middle class to go see the middle class. For us, by us. We're not trying to recruit bankers. We're not trying to recruit insurance agents. Yes, they come in. We're not trying to recruit people that think they're better than everybody else. We're recruiting the middle and the lower middle to go see the middle and the lower middle. They call us a pyramid. We drink the Kool-Aid. We're a cult. Because we don't bring in the fancy dancy people. We recruit people who got screwed to go after the industry who screwed them. That's how everyone got started. And Bill will tell you, if you were an insurance agent and you wanted to join A.L. Williams, you had to fly to Atlanta to meet with Art first. I could hire a truck driver. I could hire a homeless man. But if you were an insurance agent, you had to go fly to Atlanta to meet with Art Williams to get vetted to join this company. So you understand the crusade of what we're doing, for us, by us. Think of that concept of internal affairs. I got my insurance license not to sell insurance. I got my insurance license to replace the bad guys policy. I hope that makes sense.
Gary, that was iconic. And I mean that. I've heard, you know, if you don't mind, you know, I'm writing a book about art, and that last quote you talked about, that's going to be in the book, because that cannot be explained any better. Will there be another A.L. Williams? Wow, Gary, thank you very much. And I mean it from the bottom of my heart, man. You are the last of the Jedis, and thank God you're alive and well, and you're producing and reproducing, and you are the master copy of this new generation. So thank you very much, Gary. We owe you so much. Wow, my breath's taken away, and I hope you know that and how much we treasure you. Thank you, Gary. All right, everyone. Well, God bless. We'll talk to you next week, God willing. Gary, I'll see you on Saturday. Sorry for all the folks that aren't going to be there.
I'll see you there, bro.
All right, bye-bye.
Awesome guy.